Well, welcome back. It's been a bit. What have you been up to?
Just training hard, working on all my skills, my kickboxing, boxing, jiu-jitsu, and just sharpening everything. And I've had a lot of time I feel like I'm going to come out there and be a completely different fighter than you guys saw me last.
I know you obviously probably wanted to fight, of course, but was there any benefit to not being able to fight, having that year to kind of, like you said, hone your skills?
Honestly, I think so. I mean, you don't see too many fighters that are on the shelf and then they're getting ranked. I was 14, and I wasn't even having to fight. So, and the time away really gave me a lot of time to hone my skills and not be under the stress of a fight, per se. You know, when you have a fight coming up, your nerves, everything's going on, and you probably are a little bit more predisposed to getting injured, and I really didn't have that much. So I was able to work on my strength and conditioning, my cardio, everything, and I feel like I'm in the best shape of my life right now.
And on the flip side, was it difficult to stay motivated because you didn't have something in front of you?
Yeah, that too. It was difficult, but what I've learned is I just focus on little things. So if I feel like I'm starting to get in a rut, I'll go and dive real deep into jiu-jitsu for a couple weeks, or I'll go dive into boxing, and that kind of keeps me entertained and not like I'm in a rough spot, getting bored. So when I focus on the specific aspects of the sport, I feel like it helps me stay in tuned and just be more prepared overall. And then when I have a fight 6 weeks out, I'm mixing everything together and becoming a real martial artist.
And I can imagine when you come off a win, you kind of have that high, that excitement, that I am queen, I know it can stop me. Does that go away after time because you had a long layoff? So do you feel like you can still carry that feeling into this fight?
Yeah, this isn't the first time I've had a long layoff. I've had long layoffs in the past. And to me, jumping in the cage is just like another day of training. So I'm not really too worried about ring rust. I've been training with the best people in the world. So I know when I go out there, I'll be prepared and I'm going to put on a good show.
And what are your thoughts on your opponent? What did you think when you got the name?
I asked for the name. I've never asked for an easy fight, and I think this is a tough fight, but it's also a very winnable fight. Norma's fought the who's who of the division. She's fought basically everybody, Felicia Spencer. It goes on. So I feel like going out there and fighting her, you could say, is a shortcut, but it's a big task at hand, and I know that I'm prepared. I see some holes in her game, and I feel like I'm going to exploit them on Saturday night.
How do you see the fight going? Do you feel like you can get in and out of there pretty quick?
With Norma, she kind of plays it boring sometimes. She plays it safe, and I plan on going forward and putting it to her. So if I go out there and do what I want, I feel like I'm going to ragdoll her, make her tired, and I'm hoping for a KO round 2.
And right now there's no bantamweight champion. So what are your thoughts on that? Who do you see kind of holding that next? Who would you like to see fight for that title?
There really is no bantamweight champion. But I've been hearing that Ronda's coming back. And, I heard she's coming back at 45. So you never know. Irene Aldana, she went out and fought like shit, and she got a surgery or something. So, it's really up there. And then you look at Norma, she just fought, who did she fight? Do you remember? Rosa. She fought Carol Rosa, who just beat Yana, and I think Yana's number 6. So if I go out there and I put on a decisive fight beating Norma, I think I put myself up there at the top contenders pretty easily.
Do you feel like Ronda should come back? There's a lot of debate about maybe she should stay away. This is the first time I've heard coming back at 145. What are your thoughts on that?
If I go out there and put on the performance I plan on putting, I'll welcome her to the 45, and I think it would be a great fight. It has been a long time for her, and things change. People get better, and I think people are over her one-trick pony armbar. But, money talks, and she would bring eyes to the sport again. And I feel like her time in WWE is starting to go down, so I'd like to see it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Chelsea.
Hi.
With the featherweight division seemingly going away, is the plan to go back down to bantamweight?
So I try to focus on one fight at a time, but right now, I understand why the featherweight division is going away. You got Norma, who's fighting these boring fights, and she's pitter-pattering, and nobody wants to see that. So, they want a heavy hitter that's going to go out there and, take someone's head off, and I think I can be that person. And if I'm not, then I would love to fight at bantamweight too, you know? So I'm prepared to fight at either. I like featherweight. I think I'm heavier. My shots are harder, and I can take girls out. But we'll see what the UFC wants to do after this performance.
So you're saying that you'd be the one that the UFC can build the division around?
I can be, yeah.
I also saw that you weren't a fan of Juliana Pena's trash talk.
Oh, God.
Why is that?
You know, I like that she goes out there and talks because there's nobody else in the division that's doing it. And you can see that's how she's getting her title shots. I just don't like her big mouth, and everything she says feels like it's faked and rehearsed. And yeah, she can get it too.
So you feel like she's kind of reaching with her trash talk?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
If I can, thank you for taking the time. Circle back to what you and Amy were talking about. Just the two-part, like your thoughts on Amanda, retiring, the greatest woman of all time, and also what kind of buzz did that create amongst fighters? You guys are like, oh, the division's wide open.
You know, for me, it was kind of like, what the heck? Who's there to fight now? You know, because she was a champion at 45 too, and I know that was an easier weight cut for her. I was a little upset about it, but then I thought about it, and you see Conor McGregor, you see GSP, you see all these people that retire and they come back. So, you know, in the back of my head, she could come back. She said she wouldn't, but you never know. And then she's saying she's retiring. Ronda says she's coming back. So for me, I feel like it opened a whole bunch of doors, and there's a lot of opportunities. I just have to put in the work and do what I'm supposed to do on Saturday, and I think the doors will open, and I'm really happy for the future.
That's awesome. And let me touch on what you and Alex were talking about. If you could make that call and say second round knockout and live it up, I think that kind of just parlays everything together. A good talker, delivering, not just walk the walk, but talk the talk.
Yeah.
Really push your brand out there, right?
Yeah, no, you got to back it up. You know, you talk all this shit and you go out there and make a fool of yourself. It's not a good look. But, you know, I train really hard, and I'm a real martial artist, and I plan on going out there and taking the W.
You emphasize that real martial artist, so you don't have to get ready if you stay ready. How was this camp? How's Vegas treated you? This heat, I'm sure, is not any kind of fun for you. Yeah,
I mean, I got a little tan right now because I've been running outside every day. So I'm real prepared for this fight. This camp was great. It was a hard, I mean, this camp, I think we had 2-3 months to prepare. So I worked on putting everything together. And, you know, I've been training for Norma for a while. I've been asking for her, and I'm just happy it's here.
Excellent. Thank you for that, and good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
You fought at featherweight and you fought at bantamweight. Is there a division between the two that you prefer, and why is that?
I'd like 140. No. I think that'd be great. No, honestly, when I watch some of the fights, because, I mean, I've had some tough weight cuts too, and you see these girls fighting at 35, and you can tell, like, they were dying at the weigh-ins, you know, and then you watch their fight the next day, and you're like, geez, they're just fighting like shit. So I like 45 because if you put in the work, if you're a lazy 45er, I don't like those fights. But if you put in the work and you fight at 45 and you're walking around at like 55, 160, and you're not doing a super hard weight cut, I think those fights are more entertaining. The girls have a little bit more energy. There's more power, and yeah. But you know, 35 is nice too. But I prefer 145 just in terms of power. You know, I feel way more powerful at 45.
And when you agreed to do this, what was the sort of feel that you got from the UFC? Did you feel like there was going to be potential for 45 bouts again in the future, or is this just kind of a one-off at the time?
You know, I plan everything one step at a time, and then I think that if I go out there and do the performance that I plan on putting, I don't think they'll have any other choice but to have me fight at 45. You know, so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to represent Stockton and everything, and I'm going to come and take it.
And then looking at your opponent, you know, most of her wins seem that they've came via decision. Does that stat tell you that she's durable and she's able to maintain to the end, or do you see that she's boring and doesn't know how to get finishes? I mean, when you initially look at that stat, if you do, what does that say to you?
You know, one thing is to have a decision fight, it does take a certain type of person, you know, to have a decision fight and to constantly have them. So it shows she's durable, but she also is a counter striker, and you know, I feel like a lot of people have gone in there and pitter-pattered with her and just taken the easy route. And I don't plan on doing that. I plan on going forward on her. And if you watch any of her fights, she has a scramble on the ground, and then she's huffing and puffing when she gets up, and she's a little bit flatter. So I feel like if I take it to her, especially in the first round, second round, she's going to be pretty stagnant, and the knockout's going to be there.
You kind of answered it for me. I was going to ask you what your keys to the victory. Is it just about maintaining that pressure and not giving her a chance?
Yeah.
Nice. Best of luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
Does Nate beat Jake Paul?
That's a hard fight, but Team Stockton, yeah, I think so.
Does he just kind of wear him out and kind of make Jake gas?
Well, look at Jake. He is on steroids, okay? And those guys gas out. You got big muscles, they get tired. So Nate pushes it into the later rounds. I think he's going to take it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks. Thank you, guys.